We're about to talk about items that are so central to their identity that without them, the Straw Hats are not the same characters. This is items the Straw Hats can't live without, and honestly, you already know where we have to start. I mean, it's literally in the name, right? First up is Monkey D. Luffy and his Straw Hat. It's quite literally the most important item in the narrative aside from the One Piece itself. It belonged to the Pirate King Gold D. Roger and then Shanks, and now it is worn by Luffy. It is what has given him his epithet, Straw Hat Luffy, and it is also the namesake and symbol of the Straw Hat Pirates. When Z asks Luffy about what the Straw Hat means to him, Luffy responds that it's his guide. And sure enough, it is. The Straw Hat was passed on to Luffy by Shanks with the promise that he'd give it back when he becomes a pirate greater than Shanks with a pirate crew greater than Shanks' crew. For all we know, its importance in the narrative is going to be much more than we can imagine. There's a reason why Imu is keeping a giant straw hat in a freezing room in Marijoa, and in chapter 1122, we even see Joy Boy's silhouette wearing what is most certainly a straw hat. So looking at the big picture, there's no other way to go about it. The straw hat, which also serves as symbolic representation of the sun, specifically the rising sun or the dawn of the world, is indeed the most important item in the narrative aside from the One Piece itself. And even for Luffy, who wouldn't care about all that lore, it's the one thing he can't live without. Let's just hope that Shanks doesn't take it back when they finally reunite. Next up, we've got Zoro. And let me ask you, what do you think is his most prized item? What is the one thing he can't live without? Is it his bandana that he brings out whenever he locks in? Maybe, but I have a different answer. You see, the item Zoro can't live without is the Wado Ichimonji. While Zoro always carries 3 swords, keep in mind that Wado Ichimonji is the only one of his swords that he has carried since day one, since the very beginning. It did not break when Zoro clashed with Mihawk. In fact, it was the only one of Zoro's 3 swords that did not break. It didn't get rusted out of existence like Zoro's Yubashiri in chapter 426, nor did he have to give it up like he did with Shuisui, and it makes sense, right? There's a reason why Wado Ichimonji has been with him since day one. It belonged to Kuina and it symbolizes Zoro's promise to become the world's greatest swordsman. It is to him what the Straw Hat is to Luffy, an item that reminds him of his dream. And I'm calling it now, the first Zord that Zoro turns into a black blade will be Wado Ichimonji. You guys heard it here first, nowhere else, right here. Moving on, we've got Sanji at number 3. And I'll be honest, this is tricky because does Sanji even have an item he can't live without? We know he was able to survive 2 years without a woman in sight, so it's not like it's woman either. So what then? Should we just skip him and move on to the next Straw Hat? Nah, we can't do that because as corny as this is going to sound, Sanji does have something. It's his hands. The sanctity of his hands, to be more precise. Here's the thing, while Sanji is almost as strong as Zoro, he is a cook first and a fighter second. He has explicitly stated time and time again that he will never use his hands in a fight. To him, his hands are sacred tools meant exclusively for cooking and feeding the hungry. Hurting them or even just using them for violence would prevent him from serving his role as a cook. That's why, as corny as it sounds, the item that Sanji can't live without is the sanctity of his hands. Now don't get me wrong, if you want to ground it with a physical item, you could say it's his kitchen knife. After all, he said it himself that a kitchen knife is the soul of a cook. Now next up at number 4, we got everyone's favorite raccoon dog, everyone's favorite reindeer, Tony Chopper. His item is very obvious, it's his iconic hat. And this, guys, is where it gets emotional. That pink hat with the white cross was a gift from Dr. Hiralik, the man who saved Chopper's life and taught him both what it means to be a doctor and what it means to be a pirate. And considering how Chopper was a monster in the eyes of everyone else, including fellow reindeers, this hat for the longest time must have represented the only place where he truly belonged. It's a precious memento from Dr. Hiralik and a reminder of the dream he inherited from him, the dream to become a great doctor capable of curing any disease in the world. That's why even though Chopper started wearing a new blue hat after the time skip, he still keeps the original pink hat under that. It is his treasure after all. But moving on, we're gonna talk about Miss Nami now. Now ask yourself this, what do you think is her most prized item? Is it the climb attack? That's been her weapon of choice since her very first one-on-one fight, but is that really it? Maybe it's the log pose? In the grand line, the log pose is the only thing that keeps the crew from sailing in circles forever. Sure, Nami didn't even know about it at the start of her journey, but since then, it has basically become a part of her body. It's also central to her dream of drawing a map of the world. But is that really the answer? Yes, while the log pose is essential to her role, is that really the item that she can't live without as a person? If the log pose broke, she'd be furious and the crew would be stranded, but she figures something out. She's resourceful like that. And if she already has a spare, she won't even have to figure something out. She can just use the spare. This is why I'd argue that the item she can't live without is not the climb attack or the log pose. Instead, it's her Mikan, or should I say her tangerine trees. They're a memento from her childhood home in Kokoyashi village, taken from Belmir's grove, and they represent her home. That's why she keeps them in a garden on the Thousand Sunny, just so that a part of home is always with her. But next up, we gotta talk about the sniper Usopp. Now, I could tease his goggles here because those are iconic, but you see, unlike how it is with Chopper's hat, Usopp does not keep the same goggles. While yes, Usopp always has goggles, they have gone through multiple iterations. Plus, let's note that after the time skip, he even stops wearing them on his head and just lets them hang from his neck like a necklace. So it can't be his goggles. But how about this? Considering how he is a sniper, his true item is his slingshot. From his small Genga Pachinko, which served as his first slingshot, to his second slingshot, the Kabuto, which he used during Eni's lobby, to finally his new slingshot, the Kura Kabuto. Slingshots are central to Usopp's identity as the sniper of the Strawhat Pirates. I mean, his most iconic poses are always the one where he's pulling his slingshot, right? Think back to when he burnt the world government's flag, or when he stood in against Kizaru, or when he tried to protect Robin from Saturn. Okay, so that gives us 6 Straw Hats and their items. We got 4 more to go, and it's time for something super! Yep, we've got Franky at number 7. Now, Franky is a cyborg, so there's always a lot of items he can't live without, or at least things he can't function without. But if there's one thing, just one thing, it's his cola. It reaffirms the soul of his character. It's both his favorite drink and his literal fuel. This is what Franky uses for everything from fighting in his own body to piloting General Franky, and even his coup de burst with the Thousand Sunny. Even now in Elbaf, Chapter 1176 to be more precise, where Lilith takes a moment to give Franky a power-up with the Omni Drain Converters, the ODCs, she still fills them up in a cola bottle. It's still cola at the end of the day, guys. She calls it the Super Vega Cola, and with it, Franky unleashes a move he titled Super Strong Dexter as he blows off the Lindworm MMA's head with a single punch. It just goes to show you that no matter what power-up Franky gets, it's never going to replace the cola. Now, of course, you can argue that the Thousand Sunny is something that he can't live without, especially since he became a Straw Hat specifically to see his dream ship reach the end of the world. And that's fine, because who said that there just needs to be one item per Straw Hat? I mean, let's take Brook for example. In his case, there are 2 items that he can't live without, and both carry equal importance. First is his violin. Music is his soul, even though he's already dead. He is a musician, and he always has been since the beginning as a pirate. From his time in the Strawhat Pirates to the 50 years he spent in isolation to becoming a Straw Hat, the 2 years he spent as a Soul King, returning after the time skip, and eventually fulfilling the promise to Laboon by playing Bing Sake, the violin is basically his heart. But as I said, there's another item that's equally important. And if you haven't guessed it yet, it is Brook's afro. Every part of his former appearance is gone. The one thing that remains is his afro. It's literally the only thing that preserves his identity. And as you can expect, when he and Laboon finally reunite, the thing that Laboon would recognize him by would be his afro. No wonder he was trying to so desperately protect it from Ryuma during their fight. Alright, we talked about 8 Straw Hats so far, 2 more to go. Number 9 is the Light of the Revolution, Nico Robin. Now this one's a bit more out there because it's not necessarily an item that she carries, more so an item that she actively seeks, which is the poneglyphs. Specifically, Robin cannot live without the pursuit of true history. For decades, even with no place to belong, she still lived, and she still pursued the stones to learn more of the world as the one who inherited the will of Ohara. But hey, if you think that's too abstract, the one other item that she can't live without is Chopper himself. I mean, she does seem to treat Chopper as her own personal cute little plushie, doesn't she? And yes, she absolutely cannot live without him. And finally, we've got the crew's helmsman, Jimbe, the first son of the sea. And I'll admit, this one is very tricky indeed, but if there's one thing that I have to pick that he cannot live without, it's his kimono. Let's take a look at his outfit on Egghead, for example. Even when he was wearing a casual shirt, he still kept his kimono on. But you can also make a strong argument for the tattoo of the sun on his chest. It represents his allegiance to Fisher Tiger and the Sun's Pirates ideology. And let's not forget, it is also the spot where Akainu pierced through Jinbe's chest to attack Luffy. And there you go, that's all the Straw Hats. But wait, we actually forgot about one specific person. We couldn't complete this video without mentioning the honorary Straw Hat Pirate, Nefertari di Vivi. Now pay attention here because her item is actually the X mark of a friendship. I wanted to bring this up because it's going to be very relevant soon. As you know, in the start of the Elbaf arc, Vivi added the X mark to Luffy's photo in the newspapers as a mark that the Alabasta Straw Hats still haven't even seen yet. And this leads me to believe that Oda is definitely cooking something here, but what do you guys think? Where exactly is this leading to? How soon will we be able to see Vivi once again in the story with the Straw Hats? Let me know all your thoughts down below. I will be going through every single comment as always, and let me know what item you guys like the most. Maybe there's items I haven't mentioned that you guys thought are more important for each Straw Hat Pirate. But I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Smash that like button for me if you did. Hit that subscribe button if you guys want to see some more One Piece content here on the channel. And I know it's been a while, but I'm definitely cooking up some more videos for you guys. So stay tuned for that. Click on these if you guys want to see some more from me on this channel. Take it easy, and I'll catch y'all in the next upload. Peace.